Hello and welcome to part number 4 of this UCS Star Wars display. Now today it's going to be done in literally 2 halves. Part number 1, we want to get this placed. We want to get this in. We're hoping it's going to go across the back, so a tape measure is going to be involved. And then when that's in, we've got to see if we have left enough space for a UCS Falcon at a later date. So with that being said, let's get to it. So the tape measure is at the ready and we are literally going to be measuring and hoping things fit. Like I said, first thing first, we're going to get this on. We should have the length. I just want to see what the wingspan's like and basically figure out if we've got the angle to actually put this on the stand, because we've got away with one thing. There's no way we're going to get away with both. It just is not going to happen if you know what my luck is like. But because I am now committing to putting this up and on, and then we're going to put some of the other base plates down, and that way I can start putting the path and things down. It does mean that for the rest of the year I'm going to have to maybe rejig a table display so I can actually do a permanent live stream setup, because it doesn't work here because I can't obviously get behind the table. So I'm not 100% sure what to do just yet. I have an idea, but keep your eyes peeled for that because it's going to be an ongoing project. So first thing first, this up onto there, and then we are literally going to see what is what. And as per normal, it's a little bit dark because, well, I've got the lights facing the wrong way, haven't I? So let's spin those lights round. This big thing's going to have to now move. There we go. And just excuse me, work out exactly what space we have left for this. And then yeah, it's very much a case of I need an area to build on, and I just need to figure out where I can put another table and sit behind it later on. So there is going to be some big, I say it's not matter, it's going to be big moves, but it's literally just be able to maybe spin a table around. So we had this in the correct position last time. We didn't actually fit its other eyeball on, and of course it falls off. So let's just get this spun around in the correct place first, because we are looking at about that sort of angle, I think. Because if you haven't caught any of the parts, smooth. So as I was saying, the battery just died. We have got space for here for some more base plates as well. So what we're going to do is just see if that is going to fit across the back, then just see exactly what is what with regards to colours that are going to be used. So this is going to have to come out, this one's going to have to come out, there's another blue one, and then obviously we can figure out after this goes in where these base plates will go. We did have 4 green base plates down here, but I am quite liking giving each area sort of much more breathing space, and then making smaller areas for the smaller displays, which is quite nice. And because these do need quite a lot of area to breathe. That is the only thing with these. So we've got another sand one here, so we've got obviously got those tiles can get reused for this one. So that's on those 4, and then we've got one at the back. So that's technically, like we said before, would be the Clone Wars display. And then we have got the option then of whatever colour this goes on, which I think it's still going to stay tan. I think that might make sense, because I have got, yeah, I've got some more. I have got some more sand, so we could make it that way. We have got options of other little bits and pieces as well. So yeah, we will see. But this thing's massive, as we know. So it's coming from that table, and it's just going to go across the back against the back wall. I want the engine showing. So we'll have the deeper bit just here, and then what we'll be able to do is then see just how many base plates of space we've got in front of it, and realistically, whatever they make, unless it's a long length, if it's something like that with a massive girth, or it's something like that that's really tall, you're looking at 4 base plates. I mean, that doesn't take up any space at all, because you can obviously make a display through it. This, again, ground space isn't too bad, but you can get stuff through the wings, but it's just enormously big. But at the angle, that is over 2 base plates wide, but over the 4 base plates, it should go. It's just if this bit is actually going to be tall enough to go over that wing, so you're kind of in the way. I have to push you, get off. I have to push you forward without knocking. I was about to say, I'm going to push you forward without knocking you over. And the first thing I do is knock you over, and then that, this is the first time I've tried this, is going to go there. Now, if that was angled, I think that would look brilliant, because you're going to get the engines on the back. We're going to get just how big this thing actually is. Now, we got its rear, this thing's got so much length, so we need to sort of give him a floppy, put him down there, and now just see where this is going to end up, because I'm already thinking it's not going to be able to go too much more than that, which is fine, because if this was angled, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. But if we can get it so the back end isn't overhanging, I did guess that we would have a base plate of space in the corner, which again was possibly going to be more stuff for the Clone Wars. Like I said, I've got all these battle packs, I've got all of these bits and pieces, so that's what we're going to do. And in case, again, sorry if you knew, I'm getting carried away with this, I'm doing this. These uploads are literally within the same couple of days, but you're seeing them over a couple of weeks, so these sort of 4 parts. So if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. If you're wondering what am I going on about, that style of path, just like that, all the way around, with all the little bits and pieces around it, all in different colours for different zones. So Hoth will be yellow. We'll come up with a different colour for Tatooine. Yellow was Clone Wars, and yada 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 yada. Hence the colours of the wall. We were originally going to go 1, 2, and then 3 underneath, but as you can see, you can't. It's just, it doesn't work well. So it's going to go that way, and then all the way round. But yeah, having those like that, I mean, that thing is massive. So let's just take a step back. Yeah, that angled up against that wall will look great if we can make it fit. Now, I know you get the acrylic stands, so that is going to be something that will have to go there. But even as it is, I've actually got quite a bit of space. So right, that's in line. Let me squeeze those engines back on. So that at the angle would be perfect. And we have got a base plate in the corner. I think that might be the better way of doing it, or we try and squeeze it all the way into the corner at the angle and we see what is what. I don't think there's any way I can attempt any sort of catch for the legs on this to try and angle this at all. But the plan of this is literally going to be like that. So if it is like that, to be honest, it looks quite nice just like that. So yeah, it could angle quite nicely. If I get you in this box, maybe looking down, so I can re-watch this back, so I can kind of see what it looks like angled. Like that. That's the plan. Have it flying. That way it doesn't impede on the other ship too much. But like I said, this is about a metre long, isn't it? It's huge. But that's what the plan is against the back as well, if they ever do another one. So we have got space left for another one. And obviously it's far too close like this, but when it's twisted, all of this is basically underneath, so you've got a huge gap as is. So yeah, so far so good. That will be okay. And we are looking at what, 3? There's 1. There's 2. Yeah. So we're looking at 3 clear base plates, I would think, for something else. 4 might be a bit ambitious. Maybe 3.5. But yeah, this needs to be up and twisted, and this one obviously is the base plate for the back just there. So what I'll do is I'll make a, I was gonna say, shall I make a, yeah I will, I'll make the display on it and then I'll throw it in. So that would be on 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6 base plates for there. And then we've got to figure out, do we just have this bit water? Do we have this bit green? Are we going for Django Fett ship, which only needs to be on 1 base plate? Probably. Do we go for something else? Do we just leave it? Do I put the construction crew there? I don't know. But we are going to be tiling basically from Hoth, because Hoth is going to be in that zigzag pattern, and I am going to keep that ship as is, probably just bring its backside round ever so slightly, and then we can start to sort of tee off all the paths like we've done at the top just on that bit. And then yeah, I can look into the angles and things of this with regards to how tall it is for the stand, which will be done at a later date. But what I need to do with you now is we are going to jump onto my laptop quickly, and we are going to get the dimensions up for the Falcon, and then we're going to see if it would fit here upright on its stand as a complete block and divide. So you won't see the Jurassic Park and the tree, which is what I said in the last upload, but the second you come round to this angle, you will completely. And keep your eyes peeled, because I have got an idea now for those twirly tracks, which will be happening in the upload after this one. So there's going to be lots of tidying now over the next day or 2, which is also going to be a good few weeks for you. But I'm glad I've got the table back, because once this is all tidy, I think I'm just going to do a live on it as a test on my next live. I'm just going to pull it all the way across and then just basically see what's what. But if I can spin this round or do something different, we could potentially create quite a bit of space for tabletop and the live, but it does mean I have to crawl under the table permanently. So that's probably not the best of plans, but we will see. Because I have seen it where people have sort of had their display cut off on this bit, and they've got like a square, like almost like the old train hatches, where you can get to all 4 sides, and then on this side they've got something else where it's a permanent fixture. So that's a different problem for a different time, different day, different uploads. But now it's about the Falcon. Side me. So we are going from that. I'm going to keep you record on this at the same time. So actually, if I put you there and get this tape measure ready. So 33 inches is this big. So rather than moving the laptop, I'm just going to use the camera. So 2 base plates is 20 inches, which is what we have just there. So that's 1, that's 2. So it's got a 2-inch overhang if I have it lead down. And 33 inches. So it's basically these 6 base plates. So it would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plonk the Falcon straight down, and that's it. That is as tall as what it would get. 8 inches in height is pretty much to the top banister of the sail barge there, without the actual sails on it. So you could just have it plonked down, and it takes up all 6, and then that gets pushed into those 4, or of course we do it the other way and we stand it up. Now, with it being stood up and it only 8 inches deep, that is just over half a base plate. So obviously, as we know, a base plate is 10 inches, so it's going to be taking up, we'll allow a base plate of space for it to be on the stand, and then we will still be looking at 2 base plates wide, so it should go there. So that's the two grey ones taken, and then we move into the tan. So let's turn this bit off, we don't need that on anymore, and we'll carry on with the actual blueprint. So we've got the blueprint in front, which is nice and helpful. So yeah, we've got the space for it. It depends if I am going to go for it, and if I go for it, it's never going to be from the Lego website, because it's so much more expensive. I mean, it's horrendously more expensive than anywhere else. So no, I don't know. I don't know. I think it would look nice by the 8080. I think it would look nicer by the 8080 than what it would do, I think, like further away. This is the thing. So that's obviously going to stay. That's going to stay. Would it look? I can't have it stood up there. I've seen people put these on Billy and have them side by side, which with that and the Falcon, that does look very, very good indeed. But because I was going to put a path all the way around this, those base plates are taken up anyway. So if this was to go at the angle from the front to the back, and it just went across those 4 and these 6 stayed, obviously I'll probably just lose this over a period of time and just change that to the Falcon, and then these 2 are quite close together. That went at the angle, that can work. Or we give it 4 base plates rather than 6, because that's basically what we're looking at. Yeah, 3 base plates by 2, and we give it 4 if we stood it up, because it would take up 2 base plates stood, and then in front of it would be 2 base plates of minifigures and diorama. So it's a 2 base plate different scenario, really. But it's just what works better, and I honestly don't know. That is the thing, I really don't know. So it's such a big thing. It also depends on what is against that back wall, because if there's something else already against that back wall, obviously clearly I don't want to be blocking it off. So if we had like this big thing over here angled, for example, and it was against the back wall, and you want to see that flying across, the Falcon on its feet probably wouldn't take up that much. Like, would you be able to see everything? Maybe more. And obviously then you have the side flap open where people are walking in and walking back out again. Or it's like I said, it's stood up, and that is what I was supposed to be doing. Does it fit stood up? That could have been embarrassing, couldn't it? Does it fit stood? So we have had a huge problem with ceiling heights. We know this. We know that this is me. We know this Falcon has been my nemesis since day 1. But do we have 3 base plates of height at the back just here? So we are looking at 33 inches. We are going from the back up to the top, and of course that is 32 inches. So if we come in by half a base plate, that's 32.5 inches. Didn't think of this bit, did I? Well, I did think of this bit. This is what the important bit was. So I thought this might screw me. You can clearly see what I'm trying to do. So the angle of this roof might well be too vicious to stand it up. So if I come in by a full base plate, that's 33 there. So if it was in line with the loop coaster, it would be okay, but then I've lost a base plate of space. If if I go back one base plate, because the angle of the roof is huge, all the way back, that's actually 29 inches. And then, of course, you've got the actual stand that it's on, which is going to raise it up ever so slightly. So that is actually going to be a no starter. So we got there's food for thought, isn't there, at a later date. This might never happen, but I'm just going to start getting the tiles down in a future part. I've got a lot of tidying up to do first, so obviously keep your eyes peeled basically for part 5, which will be more than likely closer to Christmas with the upload schedule, maybe. Like I said, I'm going to start with Tatooine, start getting those bits and pieces down. All of these are in and done. Still quite like the queue to the toilet. And then, yeah, we've got all the trees and things and all those bits and pieces going in. And obviously all the orange tiles are going to be used for Hoth. And all of that bits of monstrosity is its hips. I put another ear on in a live stream, so I will slowly carry on building this up potentially. But it is painful, but we will do it. So the cheese fits. We've got to put a tan base plate there. So all I need to know from you guys and girls, where this laptop is now over these 3 base plates, say 3.5 when that's angled up, what do I put there? I asked that in the last part as well. Save it for future. Get something now which is going to on the retiring list. Just leave it empty. Depending on what the Star Trek does, and obviously this is going to be, it's recorded well before Black Friday, so I haven't got a clue at the moment. The official images and stuff haven't come out. There is options for it to go on this bit, but if I can actually move this table round so it doesn't eat into the space as much and it spins round, I might be able to have this as the Star Trek table maybe, and then have a table in the middle to build on top, because it just overhangs, the long table just overhangs a little bit too much. So I just need to figure out if I can bring that right back over and how close it would be from overhanging. So that's going to happen on, well, later on, much later on, because I've got plenty of other bits and pieces to do. So the next video, if you care, is going to be sorting out what one of those tracks now has a home, and then that's going to then snowball into a huge chain of events, creating quite a lot of space hopefully, and then just opening up the displays even more, ready for 2026. Water's not been touched, huge amount of space for that, huge amount of space for Star Wars. We know there's a load of space underneath. And focus point for this is pure dioramas for 2026. That's what I want to be doing. So I want to have lots of minifigures down, make this much more almost like a city-esque feel, like you get in an actual theme park, because we're properly zoning them all out now. But keep your eyes peeled for part number 5. Thanks very much indeed. Let me know what you think with regards to the different UCS sets. That one on a stand, coloured base plates down. Do I get a Falcon or not? Horrendous to build. So if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care and have a good next one.